Well, all days there are something new every time. So here we are, the importance of great sources. Good afternoon. This is Massimo Navarrete from Onocho One Country Cuisine here in Costa Mesa, California. Um, we have fantastic days out there. Beautiful, classic California. A little bit cooler than usual, but really pretty. Um, I had many different idea or concept in mind to converse with you about it, but this morning I was struck by something that someone said last night, and I want a full knowledge because in our world, in our society, there are many people that will love constant tell us how to live our life, what's good for us, and all the different things that they project basically their own bias. And so for me, when I look on these particular issues, I find a little bit, I want to say, annoying because we all have our own reality. We have our own experiences. We come from different places. I love when people want to celebrate the diversity, but simultaneously don't understand the complex affair when it comes to diversity. I always make a joke all the time and say, the beauty of diversity to me is that we all come with the baggage. It's like we have a train load of our experiences, good, bad, ugly. And those has to be factoring to our life every day. So the beauty of diversity is that it makes life a little more interesting, richer, but it presents many challenge. And so when you're talking about in wine, like you do, the metaphor for me for wine is always about life. And then when you talk about wine, diversity is very important in terms of consumer friendly availability, and the marketplace is better for it. But it needs explanations because the source of information that you gain, it has to be based on honest, truth, research, factual, so that when you're making a purchase of any kind, whether it would be voting or buying a bottle of wine, you have the greatest information available to you. For that hands, in our constitutions is enshrined freedom of speech and also freedom of the press. And when you put those things together, you will understand how important it is for us who actually grab a microphone and start talking is what is that we're talking about? What is that we're trying to project? Let me just repeat something that someone said last night. I don't watch the Oscar. I think it's amazing stuff promoting. Most of it is just a waste of a beautiful people lifetime. Um, I understand the people in the business, obviously, because they work very hard. They make a product that people buy. And so therefore, excuse me. So therefore, they want to honor those people and their artwork. I'm good with it. I'm not really interested in it. Same, I don't watch a word about wine people. I believe that each one of us in our own professions, we have an obligations. We have our hard work ahead every day. So we just do what we do. And I relate it to people in a different ways. But that's just me. I don't want to pass a judgment on anybody. But uh, Taylor Perry said something beautiful last night. And I'm glad I watched it because too often in our public sphere too often on both sides, left and right. There is this rush to judgment and rush to critics without really understand. Or maybe they do. Maybe it's me. I'm naive when it comes down to it. I would like to see good things in people all the time. I like to see positive things in people all the time. I'm wrong. I know that I should be a little more inclined to reality when it comes to that. There are people that have definitely a niche business. They make money, be on TV by disparaging others. But leave that aside. I'm not really care. I do agree with Perry, though. The middle, where the heart is, where the clear visions are, where the mind is. The middle is what we all needed to meet, what we had to be. Because at the opposite of that, there's politics, and it's ugly. It's about negative energy that pull us down and creates a distrust among good people from all walk of life, for no need at all, no necessity, except some people are making really good living off of it. So when a kind giant like Tyler Perry and the things he does speaks to meet me in the middle, because we should not give in to hate. We should not give in to judgment, rush judgment, and we should definitely not go out of our way to disparage others just for the diversity that they have, regardless what that is, white, black, yellow, green. It's the same feeling that I have when I talk about wine. I know this, like, Perry conversation is here, the wine is way down here, but life is a metaphor. And so here's the metaphor. Often we talk about wine producers, not so great wines out there doing their things. These are people that try to make a living for the best they knowledge, or some they just out there to obfuscate the quality and the unique hard work that people done through generational dedications. However, our job is not to go out our way to talk down these people or insult other people or disparage them. Our job is to give you, the consumer, the best information, the most honest information that we have, without interject a bias into it. People always ask me, what is your favorite wine? As if that matter. It doesn't. Really, it doesn't. It doesn't matter what is my favorite wine is. I don't have one. I never had one. My favorite is wine. The whole world of wine. I love a simple Soave as much I love a Charlemagne, Carton Charlemagne Grand Cru. Doesn't matter to me. Everything has its own purpose. You see, we have to start understanding in our own simple way that we all have a place in society. Our great comedian, George Carlin, which is one of my favorite, he said to one of the interview with Charlie Rose, now disgraced journalist, and I don't know the detail, so I will stay away from that conversation. But Charlie Rose had one of those programs where you can sit down and talk without intervention, without interference, without commercials, which I thought fantastic. And Carlin says, I am done with this experiment. He was actually talking about America. And not so much about the experiment of our liberty, our pursuit of happiness, our freedoms. He wasn't talking about that at all. He was talking about this experiment that one particular philosophy works for everybody. It doesn't. And it clearly doesn't. As much as one wine, it doesn't matter how great that wine is, it's not working for everybody. Do you imagine for a second, all of you out there, the only wine you seek, the only one is a Screaming Eagle. Or let's put a bigger iconic wine, Lafite. How sad and boring life could be or should be. Because it's all. Once you had it, what else is there? So in our world, in our society, we have to decide, metaphorically speaking, what we're looking for, what's important to us. At some level, we need a everyday, ordinary wine that is good, that is honest, that is healthy made, that is consumption friendly, that doesn't exceed our paycheck, but that we can enjoy with friends and family all day long, all the time. And then we go up from there because human aspiration always searching for something greater. So we have to fix first the most important thing that is about anything in our life: information. Where do we get our information? Why we get our information? This weekend, at one of my wine events on Saturday, I showed a film that actually was a vignette of Philippe Mattei, one of the forgotten founding father of America. He's actually the guy who suggested the phrase because he was an humanistic, he was a doctor from Italy in the 14th centuries, in the 17th, I'm sorry. And because he was part of the Illuminist movement, which generated in Europe, especially during the Renaissance of Florence and the rest of the peninsula, he understood something basic that at the time was not clearly understood, because even himself, like most of our founding father, lived in a reality, and that reality was a kingship, empires, noble, caste, different layers. But within, there was this urge, this yearning for greater understanding, which is all men are created equal, endowed by the Creator. Now, we all have questions about the Creator. Some people on the left, in the Marxist movement, they don't believe in the Creator. They believe that we just here, we're just a little spermas traveling upwards. We make it through the travel, we come out, and then the rest is just misery. So then you have this organization called government that take care of you, and life is fine. Doesn't work. It doesn't work because it's made of human. It doesn't work because it runs contrary our genetic needs. But then on the other opposite, you have a people, they believe in a profound and religious way about the creators or the creator. And fundamentally believe that you, an individual, can do all these things. It can get you from the bootstrap, it goes up, pop, 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 pop. True, to a certain extent, for some people, not for all. So there is a role in our society, and that role is very simple. We as individuals need to be respected, because if we don't respect the individual, it's like self-respect. If you don't respect yourself, how can you respect others? Right? It's as simple. So the law has to be made for one, not for all. Because if you respect one, you are respecting all. Because if the law respects the liberty of the individual, inherently will respect the liberty of all. You can't go a reverse. You cannot make law for the community and not focus on individual. What makes a community? Numbers of people, they decide that they want to live together with all their differences, with all their diversity, with all their unique and particular. good, bad, indifferent, and ugly, and experiences. But they came to terms to be represented by a group of people that will go through a selections. And we decide, okay, whoever gets the most vote represents us. In that representation, we have devised a system that allows for conversation, for compromise. In other words, you give me a little bit of your idea, I give you a little mine. We might get to somewhere in the middle, like Perry says. Compromise. Compromise, when it's done right, it's healthy because it takes in considerations all the needs of the different people. It puts against the founding books or the founding laws that all men are created equal, and through our Bill of Rights, they assert the inherent obligation that the government has towards us. We call those limitations. We do not want people in government to overstep, because that is where you go down to the road of dictatorship. In other words, that's when they only tell you what to drink, rather than you choose what you enjoy. Now, clearly, our society needs a very strong dose of middle, starting from people on social media, starting for people, especially in a public square, on both political sides, and more importantly, and essentially, from the people in the media. It's exhausting to listen to constant drum about how awful we are as a nation. It's exhausting, the constant drum of the other guy is such a bad guy. It's really unhealthy that we question every single thing for everybody says or does. Why? Because that is the principle behind the people that want us not to be who we are. They want to sow discord. They want us to be on each other's throat. Now, I'm a foreigner, born and raised in Italy. I lived through the 60s and 70s. I see what happened to my beautiful country. I came to America and I fell in love with this. I thought when I studied the American history and I studied details about the constitutions, I fell in love with the little book. There was so much to be learned from it. Clearly, no books, whether it would be the Quran, the Bible, the Torah, or the constitutions, will ever realize if the humans who read those things either don't listen to it, don't apply, or don't even believe in it. And so your oppositions around the world who find that this experiment is such an amazing experiment where the power is in the hand of the people rather than in the people that govern us, it frightens them. It puts to questions everything they're doing around the world. Are we perfect? Absolutely not. Are we the greatest country on the face of the earth? Could be. We should be. After all, we're the sum of many. Everyone who came here brought us something from their country. They contribute to this greatest experiment. But in order to succeed, we must respect the law. And when it's possible, with deliberate intentions and purpose, make the law better, more just. Constantly moving the pendulum. The Constitution is the middle. We need to meet in the middle and then find where the gaps are and work around it intelligently. My grandfather used to say that the greatest disservice to society is to destroy it. All forgot, all new. Means that all all what happened before us, it means nothing. Sad. Sad because we learned nothing. Yes, I see this for years and years in the world of wines. So many charlatans coming in, making big promises, changing the way the world is moving. We're going to drink it better. No, a lot has not changed. And yet, a lot has changed. Our job is to give you more honest, more accurate informations and make sure that if we don't know something, well, let's not act like we do. This excessive amount of expert around us without humility, just because they can sell the next book or they can appear on the next television show or they can have their own television show, whatever that is. I understand. We as a consumer has to be smarter, has to be more skeptical of the sources. It's not possible that we spend the good lather of last 4 years believing a large majority of the Americans that a president of the United States with a large holdings in real estate in America was a puppet of the Russians. The implication alone is an insult. But more importantly, the discontent and the aggravations and the mistrust in the system, it got so deep that we cannot move to the next conversations. It's so sad. But what really is very sad, and don't get me wrong, I'm going to explain a simple concept. Through centuries, Conte Machiavelli devised a phrase that says the end justifies the means. Ask yourself, what were the ends that justified the means of insulting a very large group of Americans? What is the ends that justifies the implications that a lot of Americans don't belong here? Well, if you find out about that, let me know. I would be curious because we've been headed. Because the people in media have long ago abandoned their jobs, their oath. And some people in government have done just the same. Because, power corrupts, but absolute power, absolutes corrupts. And so for me, as a naturalized American citizen, I still have trust and hope in this experiment. I still see this as one of the greatest countries on earth. I see this wonderful America of us, these flourishing vineyards with great care on our side, like a wonderful vigneron walking the fields and looking for the springs, the new hope of the future. I am with Tyler on this. I'll meet him in the middle any day. I'll be on his side any day because I care for my fellow man. I care for human beings deeply. And I am with Mr. Luther King Martin. I never looked on a person any other ways but the content of their character. Whether it's through my customers or through my vendors or anyone I come in contact, I never had a judgment to no one before I know them. So for me, the middle is the only place the only place we should be. Don't let those extremes on all sides take hold in our society and be fearful that somehow, somewhere, they're going to shut off this spigot called liberty, this wonderful place, what we call home. We should never, ever surrender our ability to love, to care, our ability to express what's in our heart and minds, and be just doing it in a thoughtful, kind, gentle way, but nevertheless fearful that tomorrow this will be a different place. It's not pleasant. So for me, when I hear the word of Tyler Perry last night, it really, really made my heart smile, because I saw someone that had a lot to be angry about, said he will not allow hate to govern his judgment. I am with you 100%. And I hope, and truly hope and pray, that the large number of our brothers and sisters in this country are feel the same, because we are a great country after all. With all our mistakes, with all our sometimes stupidity, if we will, we are an amazing country. And yes, we celebrate diversity, because just like a great superstore or great restaurants, we should have all kinds wines available to ourselves. We should embrace and celebrate all our diversity, but in a kind, intelligent way. Not impose our will to others, but just have a wonderful open mind and open heart. So for that, I want to say that, Mr. Perry, I will meet you in the middle any day of the week, and twice on Sunday, because your thoughtful, kind words has reached my heart, because I feel the same. And you and the country is better off for it, because we are a lot of us who feel this way. So please, next time somebody talk, check where the information come from. Find out what is their hands to justify the means. And always, when you're not sure, come to the middle. It's a better place to be than on some ledge off the cliff before you jump. This is an amazing place. And I didn't fall in love with this country because it was perfect. I fall in love with this country because we are trying to be a great country every single day. This is Massimo Navarrete from Onocho One Country Cuisine in Costa Mesa. I bid you farewell and see you next Saturday. Have a wonderful day and a week. Ciao.